Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Austin here, and today I will be reacting to Hermitcraft 8, episode 19, my scariest project. This video is by Mumbo Jumbo, and I have absolutely no idea what he's gonna do in this episode. And trust me whenever I say it's like unbelievably hard to not watch these Hermitcraft episodes before I react to them and watch them for the first time. So it's been really hard to do that. But if you like this video, please go support Mumbo Jumbo. Please go subscribe to him. He's an amazing content creator. So if you like this video, I'm sure that you will like much more of his content and all the content he will create in the future. Also, only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you like my videos, please subscribe. It's free. You can always unsubscribe later if you want to. Enjoy the video.
This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. And in other completely unrelated news, I just got myself a new bike, which is why I'm on the server at 6 in the morning. I've literally just woken up and I am recording a video immediately, which is always a terrible idea. You know the stupid things that I usually say? Well, imagine how stupid I am early in the mornings. I'm like triple stupid. Oh, see? Triple stupid. I didn't think to check that. And then I was just stood on top of Scar's mountain. How have I fallen that far? And only taken this many hearts of damage? Thank goodness for these hourglasses here. I guess I'll be running the sports halls for the time being then. So as I was saying, I'm here at 6 in the morning. I'm playing on the Hermitcraft server. What does that have to do with me having my new bike? Well, I really want to go out riding my new bike. I really want to just go off and do a bunch of adventures, okay? So I was thinking, I wonder if I can compress the recording time of a Hermitcraft episode from 3 days, you know, where I spend like 10 hours recording. I wonder if I can compress that time into one just crazy 12-hour session and just see if I can do it in a day. Like a 12-hour Hermitcraft challenge. I don't know, maybe I achieve some crazy flow state. And you know, the pressure of trying to make a Hermitcraft episode in just such a compressed amount of time leads to some really good stuff. Or alternatively, it leads to me having a complete meltdown. Either way, we're doing it. Hermitcraft 12-hour challenge. Let's go. Didn't even bring any diamonds with me. Okay, I'll be the first to admit that this is not the lightning fast start to my 12-hour session that I was expecting. But regardless, my sports horse has managed to get me to pass some gas. So let's get ourselves some XP. And it's out of stock. Thank goodness I brought a spare diamond. And I'll be claiming my refund in the form of an Efficiency 5 book. Onward! Okay, let's try this again then. 1 diamond goes in. There we go. Oh yes, this whole process has taken me 2 Minecraft days. So what's the plan then? It's one that once again, I'm incredibly nervous for. I keep doing things that push me way outside of my comfort zone this season. Obviously taking on a large scale terraforming project was the first thing that absolutely scared the pants off me. And now I want to work on building up a structure that kind of merges in with that terraforming. This is a complete side note, but why is it that when I zoom in while flying with my Elytra, I just go straight into my forehead?
I noticed that.
It doesn't have the same effect when I'm trying to emphasize a point. This doesn't emphasize it at all. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. It's the same effect.
Pearl build here. The reason why that's hilarious. Wait, is that a green build here? The reason why that's absolutely hilarious is because everybody in the Bodum crew wrote a sign, or wrote a message in the sky saying for Scar to build his base wherever they choose. That's why it's so funny.
When I'm trying to emphasize a point, this doesn't emphasize it at all. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. If you cast your mind back to some of the original concepts I showed when I was formulating ideas for this place, the idea was to have a structure on this side, a structure on this side, a bridge connecting the two, and then a structure coming up to meet up with the lake up at the top. And I do think that would look really cool. And I really want to try and construct that. But yeah, I'm terrified. Which is the other reason for this tactical 12-hour episode. You see, if I give myself a time limit, a deadline, then I just have to crack on and build it. I can't wallow in my sorrows and ideas because then I just do nothing for 3 days. With this, I just have to start working. I have to start placing blocks, and we'll see how it goes. This is both completely unnecessary and also very necessary. I want to do all of my planning in bright red. I still find this game mechanic strange, even after all these years. How do I want to go about starting this? How do I want to go about start? Okay, so bridge.
Sometimes
Bridge for sure.
Sometimes you should
Bridge.
just start placing blocks.
Building. Stairs? As you can hear, I'm a little bit lost, so I'm just going to start placing in blocks, and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to see what comes out. Okay. Okay, I'm actually quite liking this. I'm actually quite liking this. Now, a lot of the inspiration images I had this structure as being one solid structure, but in my head, I kind of imagine almost like a jumble of structures. They're all connected, but they're also disconnected. It's like it's a small village that is on the mountain here, kind of precariously on the edge. Almost like Machu Picchu. Yeah, Machu Picchu. One of the most beautiful wonders of the world. I'm going to try and recreate one of the most beautiful wonders of the world with my limited skill and talent. Zero pressure then. I do think the proportions here are correct though. I think this is cool. Let's start trickling these upwards and also downwards as well. I'm trying my best to keep to the terraforming that I've already done, so base the locations of the buildings on spots where there actually would be buildings, and I think it's looking cool. I really do think it's looking cool. These are my last few concrete blocks for the time being, so I'm going to make use of them by chucking in a staircase. I think it's probably worth planning those out as well. Oh, just that one staircase makes it feel so much more real. That looks awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Gathering up a little bit more.
And it's starting to look really good.
Made some more progress on the build, and it's looking cool. Seriously, seriously cool. The only bit that I'm not liking is this bit up at the top here. I feel like there needs to be more layers there. Something a little bit like this. Yes. That is perfect.
Yeah,
that
looks
is
better.
absolutely perfect.
That
So I think it's about
definitely
time that we
looks
start
better.
work on the other side, but first, a quick message from our sponsor, ExpressVPN. Imagine if everything that you looked at on the internet was visible or audible to the people around
I'm gonna let this run
That could
through.
be really,
I'm not gonna
really
skip it.
embarrassing. Is Belgium actually a real country? What does the CEO do? I occasionally like the smell of my dog's farts. The crazy thing is, this sort of is the case. Whenever you're on an unencrypted connection, hackers
that's
can intercept your
hilarious.
internet connection, intercept your data, and see exactly what you're doing online. And at least in the UK, your internet service providers store all of your web activity for 2 years, which is
That's a lot.
ExpressVPN prevents this by encrypting all of your online activity and rerouting all of your network data through their secure servers. And a nice juicy bonus of this is you can choose which country you connect from, meaning you can access content that otherwise wouldn't be available due to it being region locked. For example, I wanted to watch Forrest Gump because I think it might just be one of the best films of all time, but I was horrified to find that it's not on the UK version of Netflix. I was ready to get on a flight and never return. But then I remembered I've got ExpressVPN, so I just changed the country I was connecting from to Germany, and faster than you can say Jenny, Forrest Gump was on my telly. Not my greatest one, but I'll take it. So if you want to find out how to get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free, then head to expressvpn.com/Mumbo, or click on the link down in the description. And thanks to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. Sorry Scar, please don't take this personally, but you're now uninvited from building above my base. It does look considerably better now though. So let's get the other ones on the go. I can't stop running out of concrete. I ran out of concrete again. This is using way more than I was expecting. I think I'm around about 20 stacks down so far, which is pretty ridiculous. Maybe even 24. I think maybe even 30. But despite my rather expensive planning tool, it is looking incredibly good. I'm really liking the way that this is coming together. It feels organic, it feels natural, it feels like these buildings have existed on this platform for many years. And that might not make much sense, but sometimes when you place a structure on something, it just looks like it's been plonked there. A good example actually is my entire base. Because I haven't terraformed around the bottom just yet, it looks like it's been placed on top of the landscape. It doesn't look like it's grown naturally. It just looks like it's been chucked on top, like a Lego brick. Whereas because I'm being very deliberate with where I'm placing my building blocks, they feel like they're sitting in the correct spot, and they actually exist in harmony with the structure. I tell you what, I sound smart in the mornings, don't I? It's actually not really morning anymore. This is taking me 5 hours. I want to be as happy as this guy seems right now. Either that or he really needs the toilet. I've been there before. Anyway, my template planning is now done, and I'm really happy with everything that we've got. The only thing that I'm not so sure on is bridge positioning, but that's probably one of those things that will become more apparent when the actual buildings get in place. I'm not sure how big I want the bridge to be, or how prevalent I want it to be, so for now I've made it quite small. But I'm also thinking maybe we could have multiple bridges.
Maybe one near the top.
Going down to a bridge here, a bridge up here, maybe a bridge across the waterfall up at the top. All of these things could look really, really cool. Anyway, with this idea now fully fleshed out, I think it's time to just quickly tackle one thing, and it involves popping to a creative testing world, because I want to do something that I don't do very often, which is block palettes. So I think first things first, it's probably pretty important I actually lay these block palettes on top of the blocks that they're going to be used on. And our gigantic stone armchair mainly consists of stone, moss and leaf blocks. And the first block palette that I've mocked up is what I would refer to as the universal block palette of Minecraft. These are blocks that everyone knows goes together. When you build with them, it just works, and they definitely fit in very nicely with the building style that I've gone for. So if all else fails, this is going to be the one that I go for, and I'm going to be very happy. But the point of me doing these block palettes is I want to get a little bit experimental. Now this here was one of my original reference images for my build. It's Mantaupun Falls in the Philippines, which is a place that I personally absolutely love. And I thought it could be interesting to actually draw on the Philippines reference. Now I'll put a link down in the description for a mini documentary that I made a couple of years ago with my girlfriend's uncle, because there you can see in the rural areas of the Philippines, everything is painted really bright, beautiful colours. Everything is vibrant, everything is saturated, and I'll be honest, that is a build style that I haven't really played with before. All of my builds tend to be pretty grayscale or just uniform in colour. So the idea of having my gigantic mound covered in a number of different brightly coloured huts is awesome. The only thing is, I don't know if I'm a talented enough builder to pull it off. I think I'll experiment with some designs between episodes. For now though, it's time for me to work on something that I've been meaning to do for an incredibly long time. And you heard me talking about it earlier on in the episode. Currently my base just looks like it's sat on top of the landscape. It's not blending in, it just looks like it's been plonked on top. It's like fallen from the sky and landed there, and it's not actually a part of the ground at all. Now the way that we get around this is by using terraforming, and I think actually adding in some rock structures down at the bottom here as well could really help. First port of call is to expand the mossage, which, yeah, I don't know if that's a word or not. And now let's do a bit of an experiment. This is a day of experimenting, and yeah, this is probably going to go wrong, isn't it? But that's what experiments are for. Failing horribly, and no one laughing at you. Please don't laugh at me, unless I say something absolutely hilarious, in which case obviously do laugh at me. But otherwise, laughing is completely forbidden from my videos. How does this look then?
Okay.
Not terrible. Not terrible. If you imagine a few of those dotted around of various different sizes and scales.
If there's only one, it doesn't look that good in my opinion.
I think that will do wonders in establishing this as an actually natural landscape. Let's do the work and get this thing terraformed. And while I do this, I want to talk to you about William Gooch. Now William is someone who I recently met who is ridiculously inspiring. He's an ultra endurance athlete. He ran the full length of England in 16 days last year, and currently he's working on doing 48 marathons in the 48 counties of the UK in 30 days.
What?
48 marathons, 30 days. It's just completely bonkers. I met up with him and Robbie Ballinger, who is an incredible ultra endurance athlete himself. Ran across America in 75 days, among many other ridiculous endurance challenges. And I met up with them not to run, but to cycle alongside them, take some photos, and just witness this ridiculous feat of human endurance. I came away from it ridiculously inspired, and that's part of the reason why I'm sharing this, but also William is doing this for a good cause. You see, unfortunately, his mum passed away a few years ago with cancer, and that's really what inspired him to take up running, and he's doing all of this in memory of her and in aid of Macmillan Cancer Support, which is an incredible charity, one that means a lot to me, so I'll put the links on how you can donate down in the description, as well as places where you can follow on their progress, because as I say, this is just so inspiring. So a huge shout out to William and Robbie, and let's get back on with the episode. This was a bit of an uphill struggle, but I'm so happy with the end results. Just that tiny little detail there, just adding these little bits of stone in, has made it look 10 times better. Oh no, my mouse is disconnected! No!
Oh no!
What? Oh, I'm in the horse's pen. And this is why I hate anything that is wireless. Because you just know it's going to run out of battery at the worst time. It's always how it goes. Anyway, this was an uphill struggle, but I am incredibly happy with the end results. Also, watching this little forest out the front here grow throughout the time-lapse was probably one of the most satisfying things ever. So we have made some pretty serious progress on the base area here, but I do have some concerning news. I am 9 hours into my 12-hour Minecraft session right now. That gives us 3 hours to do something else epic, and thankfully I have 2 epic ideas. Okay, fine. Calling this first build epic might be a little bit of a stretch, but the thing that it activates is definitely epic. I mean, there's no denying that is an epic contraption. The only issue being the only way that we can actually open it is using the tripwires out the front. There is no way to activate it from the inside, so that's what I'm working on fixing up now. And what's hilarious about this redstone line is it needs to go all the way up to the top to activate the circuits up at the top there. That will then send a signal right the way down to the bottom, which then sends a signal back up through the redstone contraption. It's definitely a long-winded way of doing things, but it's my way of doing things, and it's going to work. At least, I hope it's going to work. You've been annoying me for the past few days. It is now your time to die. This is my new favourite weapon, by the way. Anyway, the redstone is all hooked up, and should now be working properly. That looks just as epic on the inside as it does on the outside. But that allows us to work on the next stage of the process, which is this thing right here. You see this gigantic hole? This is why I needed to do the redstone for the door, because normally when I exit this place, I just fly straight upwards and I fly out the top. It does require 3 rockets every single time. That shows you how tall this place is. But now we don't need to do this because of course I've got the button for the door. So that means I can actually construct the lake on the top of this mountain, which means that this waterfall can actually come from a natural point. So you can all stop shouting at me down in the comment section saying that this is impossible. I know it's impossible. I may not be a geologist, but I'm not a complete moron. I know that water can't spontaneously come from nowhere. I said that with a lot of confidence. What if water can spontaneously come from nowhere? I mean,
well,
now
matter can't be created or destroyed. So he's 100% right.
Now I'm doubting myself. Maybe I am the moron. Geologists and scientists, please send help. Now, after standing around for far too long trying to work out what blocks I was going to use to do the bottom of our lake, I just decided to make it out of stone. Because if you make it out of stone and then decide that you want it to be made out of moss, then it's quite a simple process to convert it. Whereas converting moss back into stone is a little bit more of a nightmare. I just realised I've completely stolen Grian's beacon. I forgot that I had left it in this cave. He hasn't mentioned it so far though, so I think I might just hold on to it secretly. This whole peace, love and plants thing does kind of restrict me from getting wither skulls. Killing the wither is fine. It's getting the wither skulls that's difficult. What on earth is this thing? I don't even know what this is. I think it's time for me to go home. So the lake bed is now all in place and, well, it's looking like this. I must admit, this whole build being actually solid and it having a roof on top of it has made a big difference. It actually does look considerably cooler. But now it's time for me to start working on the important pieces of the puzzle, which is the water running from the lake bed into the waterfall itself. And I think this is going to make a huge difference. The only thing is, I have to be so careful that I don't accidentally pour water down onto my piston door and also onto my storage system. Because that would be depressing in a number of ways.
So
Am I happy with this? That looks about right to me. I mean, once this is in place, it's going to be very difficult to change. I think that looks good, so let's get all of this area filled in so that we can actually flood this with water. I'll tell you what, building up lakes is a bit of a long-winded process. But despite that, this part is always ridiculously satisfying. It is the weirdest game mechanic that you can flood an area just by consistently right-clicking with a bucket and just creating loads of infinite water sources, but I'm so glad that it exists, because imagine if it was different. Imagine if I had to do all of this by hand, every single block. It wouldn't be that much of a big deal, to be honest with you, but you would hear me moaning about it. Instead, you're hearing me talk about moaning about it if it was a thing. And it might actually be worse. It's been a long day. Alright, remember I started recording this video at 6 in the morning? It's now nearly 6 in the evening. There we go. Fully connected up, lake installed, and I sincerely hope I haven't left any holes in the stone, because otherwise, yeah, my storage system is going to wave itself goodbye. Looking good, looking good. Here comes the truly nerve-wracking part. I'm about to connect up the lake to the waterfall. Please don't go wrong, please don't go wrong. Has it changed the course of it at all? It would be fantastic if it hasn't. It doesn't actually look like it has. Everything is looking correct, and this looks a million times better than it did before.
Oh yeah, it does.
I can kind of understand the complaints about the one block source. It did look a little bit pants, didn't it? Now let's quickly get ourselves some ocean vegetation, so I would say some kelp. Can I actually get this seagrass stuff, or do I need silk touch? What do I need to get seagrass? Is it shears? I'm
Yeah,
going completely
maybe she
crazy.
is.
I'm terrible at Minecraft. Regardless of my inability to play this game effectively, I now do have all of the seagrass and the kelp and things installed in here, and I do think this is a solid start. I also think I'll do a little bit more terraforming of the edges once again when all of these buildings are in place, just so I can get a better feel of how I can build up these edges, because I will be the first to admit that this does look a tiny bit on the flat side, but I'm still really happy with how it's all come together. I'm really happy with this plan right here. I'm really happy with all the terraforming that we did out the front, and I'm really happy with what we've managed to do in this Hermitcraft episode, this slightly strange Hermitcraft episode. It feels super odd to have started and finished a Hermitcraft episode on the same day. I don't think I've done that so far in Hermitcraft Season 8, and it's been a very long time since I've done it in general. It's been pretty cool to see how it feels to compress my normal 3 days of recording for 8 to 10 hours a day into one 12-hour day. That has been interesting, and my one takeaway from it is it really reduced the amount of time that I spend faffing about, thinking about whether or not my ideas are good. You know, I just crack on and start building it. I don't spend the time deliberating it and deciding, is this a good idea? Is it a bad idea? I just start placing the blocks, and then I realise if it's a good idea or a bad idea as I'm doing it, which is a much freer and more fun way of working. So I definitely think that's something that I'm going to be carrying forward into future Hermitcraft episodes. It just goes to show, even if you've been making Minecraft videos for nearly 10 years like I have, as a content creator, I still have things to learn. And on that note, I think it's time to end. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next episode. See ya! And to round things up, once again, I want to come back to William and Robbie. William doing his absolutely incredible 48 marathons in 30 days in the 48 counties of the UK. Just completely ridiculous. All of the links are down in the description if you want to check out his progress for yourselves. And of course, if you can, the donate link is there. If you have any money spare, then feel free to contribute.
Wow, that was a really good episode. I really like the how he incorporated the his sponsorship with the VPN. I forget what VPN it is, but yeah, it was really funny. The sponsorship that he included in his video. But all in all, that was very interesting. Incorporating the entire, like, what we saw was the highlights of his 12-hour Minecraft session. Man, that was really cool. I wonder if he's going to do that more in the future. If he does, that'd be very, very cool. But yeah, with that being said, guys, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. See you later, guys.